Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Marion County Espresso TV. I'm your host, Steve Woodhouse, and joining me today is the new CEO of Marion County Bank, Klint Korver. Welcome, Klint.
Thank you, Steve.
So you're born and raised in Pella, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So I Pella native. Went to Pella High School and went to Central after high school, and then worked here for 8 years as a consumer lender and commercial lender. And, just had one of those feelings that I don't know if I'm going to be in Pella my whole life. And so I had extended family in Southern California and just thought, well, I think I want to give this a try. And at first I was like, am I being an idiot here for leaving my job in Marion County Bank? It's a great place to work, and kind of went into something more unknown, but had a great experience in California, would do it all over again. But at the end of our 10 years there, we were feeling the nudge to come back. So really glad to be back. Certainly appreciate small town after being in LA for 10 years. And like I said, I miss it a little bit weather-wise this time of year.
Yeah,
but I appreciate small town Iowa, and I'm certainly glad to be back here. So
I assume you're in banking out there in LA. What were you doing out there?
I was not in banking.
Really?
Yeah, so I actually worked for a material supply company, construction aggregates, logistics. So we had 400 dump trucks in the LA basin into Arizona, Northern California. So I got exposed to a whole different world of rock and sand and golf course construction and all that stuff. So I think the biggest thing that I benefited from, I had great mentors there. But I really got exposed to, one, being a customer. So we were an attractive customer because we bought so much equipment. So I was the customer for the banks. And so that was an interesting perspective to be on the other side of the desk during the transaction. So I think that's been a nice thing for me to bring back here. I also, our company was multiple companies, so there was some complexity to it. And just the speed of working in a competitive environment in a big city. I just got a lot of good exposure to a variety of things that I wouldn't necessarily have exposure to staying in the banking industry. And so eventually became the CFO there. And then, and then it felt like it was time to move back. But again, just like leaving here, I didn't leave there because of the job. I really enjoyed my job. So when I came back, I wasn't set on having to come back into banking, but Marion County Bank was the first place that I called. And I shared that with the staff last week that, it was because of the culture here that I knew that we'd acquired Iowa State Savings Bank, we'd grown. There were some people that I'd worked with before that retired, but I trusted that the culture here was the same. And that's tough to find sometimes, a really healthy work culture. And so it was the first place I called, and I'm glad Steve and Ron had a spot for me, and we kind of figured it out from there. So so that was a little bit of my background as far as out of the banking industry, coming back into it. But I think it was a really good thing for my development.
And so as far as the culture, I don't imagine you're going to change much here as far in that regard, right?
Correct. Yeah. That gets built over such a long time, and there's so much of our foundation that is so good. And as far as how we treat our employees, how we serve our communities and serve our customers. So no changes there. I think, banking is an interesting industry right now just due to the speed of change, the increase of competitors. And so I think one of the things that Steve Kreinbrink and the board decided was to split up the CEO and president roles so that our president, Kevin Bolt, can continue to focus on the day-to-day. And in my role, it can be more strategic, visionary, because you kind of have to decide, we want to continue to serve our communities well, but the needs and demands of the community change, right? And and especially on the consumer side, change as they have all these options on your phone to do your banking. And so I think about, like, when I started banking, my dad and my grandpa and myself all kind of banked the same way. And now our oldest generation banks completely differently than our youngest. And so you need to keep up with that. But there's a cost that comes to that. So I think being strategic about what direction are we going to go in to continue to meet the needs of our customers is going to be important. And I think it was wise on Steve and the board's part to separate these two roles, because it's hard to do both the day-to-day and the strategic. And so that's kind of the rationale for why those positions were separated. So but great foundation here. I'm not looking to make changes to what we do really well.
And you've only been here a short while, correct?
Yeah, I've been
Serving
back
this role.
3.5 years. Yeah.
I mean, in this role as CEO.
Oh yeah. So that's the official announcement. It became official with our board meeting in February. Steve's done a great job. So our executive team, Kevin Bolt, myself, and Lisa Walters, he's really allowed us to lead over this past year because this plan's been in place for a little bit, and so he's been there as a mentor and a wise counsel. But he has taken a step back to allow us to make decisions and think through the processes. And so, when he retires at the end of the month, it's not going to be a shock to the system. We'll certainly miss some of that wisdom in the room, but I think that's where I really appreciate his approach there and allowing us to grow and lead throughout the last year.
And so over that past year, as you've been preparing to officially take on the role, and in the weeks you've been here, what kinds of visionary plans do you have, or have you been able to really set any in motion yet?
Well, I think some of them is just like, your resources are limited as far as your people. And so we're really looking to be like, where do we strategically want to grow in looking for opportunities for digital growth, deeper dive into our products and services. And so it takes, manpower to really dive into that. And so part of what I'm doing is helping provide some of that structure to say, what are our priorities? Who are the right people to take those on? And so I think that's really a look at like identifying where do we want to go. And this year is really kind of a preparation year of digging in, researching, listening to our customers, and kind of helping develop some of the paths that we want to head down in the future, specifically in those areas, right, of the increased depth of our digital offerings and our products and services.
And now, see, what exactly are digital offerings that a bank can offer? I mean, other than being able to access your account online or use your phone to tap to pay, or what are some of those things you can offer?
Yeah, so I think that there's a ton in that fintech space as far as like you can get more niche with like specific budgeting products, and I think like to your question, there's a whole world out there of it. It's what are your customers looking for, because these things all take investments, right? And for example, there's apps out there that help kids learn how to save, right? And it's you're allocating funds on your app to help with that budgeting and learning how to do that. Is that something our customers want? We're going to learn that. I mean, yes, I'm sure some would like to use it, but you can't invest in everything. And so I think we're looking to say, okay, what things as we're listening, are we finding our customers really want, and then going down those paths? Because as a community bank, you can't invest in every new piece of technology. Right. There's such a cost that comes with that. And so, but we definitely need to keep up with, where our customers want to go. But I think the main thing, you're right, we're already offering is doing your business on your phone, mobile deposits, those sort of things. Like we're already doing that, but I think it just continues to advance. And so you can't stay put as it continues to move. You have to kind of keep up with it, or else that chasm gets pretty big between where everything else is going. So that's a challenge, but it's exciting too. And I think the people that we've got working on some of those projects are excited to kind of get to dive into that over the course of the year.
And so what about like physical locations of the bank? Are you looking to move beyond Pella, Knoxville, Melcher, or going elsewhere?
Well, we have to be open to that. I think that probably not in 2026, but I think we have to keep, and our board agrees, an open mind to that. I think you want to make sure that you've got your personnel set as far as that. Every time you do that, it was a huge thing for us to buy Iowa State Savings Bank, and I'm so glad that we did that. It comes at a personnel cost too, right? Because you just take on more employees, more customers, and that's been a great step, but you need to make sure you're ready for that next one too. Depending on, there's different ways you can grow and expand your footprint, but yeah, and I think that's something that we're certainly going to keep our eyes open to, but probably not in 26. Yeah. And
you've talked about personnel a lot. Are you pretty satisfied with the level of personnel you have now, or are you looking to add more personnel this year or next year?
No, we had a busy year of hiring this last year, and we're really excited about the people that joined us. And so I think we're in a pretty good spot right now. There was a point last year, I think we had 4 or 5 openings, and in the history of our bank, like that's just not very normal. But we had a lot of retirements, and so that's a good thing, right? People have stuck it out with you for decades and periods of time, and you celebrate that, and then you look to bring on new people. But we're really excited about the staff that joined us in the last year, and then also there was succession planning going into all of that too. And so feel really good about the team we've got in our locations right now.
And the bank's been here for 100 and how many years?
Yeah, well, officially Marion County Bank in 1935.
That's right.
Right? Yeah. So been here for a long time.
I was going to say, it sounds like you want to be here for a lot longer.
Yeah.
And as you said, you don't know how things are going to change.
Yeah.
But do you have like any goals other than, like, I'm sure it's customer satisfaction and your worker satisfaction, but do you have any other goals for your time as president?
Yeah, I think that
CEO, excuse me.
Yeah, no. I think one of the big things is I want us to get out more, and so we're talking about that with our. I want to meet the customer on their terms, so it's a little different for consumer. Meeting them on their terms means getting it to them on their phone, because if they want to still come in the bank, we're here to serve them. But I think on the commercial and the ag side, we're the biggest bank in the county, but we still want to go out and obviously get more business, but then also meet our customers on their terms. And so that's going to be a focus of ours, in the years to come here, starting this year, is get out, meet customers on their terms, learn more about their business, and they want to share about their business with you. But sometimes it's nice when you're going to them. And that's what I learned about, in my last job. I didn't have to go to the bank. They would come see me. And I think that we want to, especially on the commercial and agricultural side, do a lot more of that. And we'll be doing that together, because it's a fun thing to kind of do together, as staff, and to build deeper relationships with our customers that way. So that's kind of an immediate focus. And I think, another thing that's a goal is just continuing to educate in the community that, like, I think community banks fill a really important need in a small town. So kind of the cool thing is your money that gets deposited here is redeployed in home loans, in business loans, in farming loans. And then some of the profit we make off that is reinvested in donations in this community. So it's a pretty cool model that is I think pretty unique to community banks in small towns. And so I want to continue to, as I'm out talking with people, educate that, because people have more choices than ever. And I think just, making sure that people understand some of the things that we are about and have been about and will continue to be about in the community, because I think it's important for the long-term health to have banks like ours in small communities.
Absolutely, I would agree. You don't want just corporate banks around, or banks that you don't actually see the people, right?
Yeah.
And so you've been back in Pella for a few years, you said. What's the reaction been, since the news came out about this more widely, getting a lot of congratulations and so forth from old friends? Or? Yeah,
it's been fun. I mean, it's been a fun thing, because we've known about it internally for a while. Our staff knew about it about 6 months ago. And so it's been fun to kind of, we weren't holding it a secret necessarily at that point, but for it to, get out and receive that congratulations. My son's 9 years old, and he looked at me one time. We went to the Pella basketball game, and 4 or 5 people congratulated me the day after it got announced. And he goes, "Is this a big deal, Dad?" And I was like, "Well, we live in a small town, But I said, Marion County Bank is a well-known company in town, and Steve's been in his role for a long time, so it does get people's attention when that change happens. So it was kind of funny to see his reaction to it. But it's been fun. It's been fun to share that with people, and just express my gratitude and excitement for the role as well, because I really am, I'm really blessed and excited to be in this position.
And so what was your initial reaction when you came in and they said, "We would like to groom you for this role, or try to put you in this role eventually"?
Yeah, I think that I had executive experience, and so I just, I don't think they were planning on me coming back. And so I think when I said, "Hey, I'm coming back, I'm starting with you guys," if there's any, and there wasn't an immediate fit, right? And so it took a little bit to kind of get that figured out. And I think when they presented, the opportunity to me that that's the direction we were heading. You know, I was excited about it. I was also appreciative of the timeline, that it wasn't going to be like, okay, and this is going to happen in 3 months, you know, so because I'm getting my banking feet back underneath me. And I think that's the nice thing about our structure. We've had some, you know, retirements, but there's still a lot of experience in this building. And so I can bring in some of the things I've learned and some of my strengths and still continue to grow and learn, you know, from the people here as well. And so, yeah, I think it's been a really good model and a good runway to kind of bring us to this point.
Absolutely. Was there anything more you would like to add about your new position or the future of Marion County Bank while we're still here?
No, I think I've said I'm excited for the opportunity and just really grateful for the communities in the county that we serve and that we live in, and we're going to keep doing our part in the community and look forward to partnering with consumers and business customers here for many years to come.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for taking the time to join us, Clint.
Yeah, thank you.
And thank you all for joining us.